Also, as I said, Apple collaborated with Samsung right at the birth of the smartphone industry. Microprocessors for iPhone 1 was supplied by Samsung. So what Chase Bear, and this is I'm not a fan of Chase Bear's closed innovation model, which he says that is the dominant paradigm, the way companies typically do R&D, and the brave new world is to adopt a more open approach to innovation. I'm very skeptical of that claim because partly because I'm a historian. I'm interested in history of innovation and technology, so I know that's just not true. And if you look at history of innovation, history of creativity, new ideas, new artifacts, who invented fire? We don't know. Somebody came up with, figured out the way to create fire to sustain it, and others copied it, right? Because it was hugely useful for warmth, to scare away predators, and for all sorts of applications, right? So someone figured out, others copied, right? That's open innovation. Who invented agriculture? Who figured out to melt tin and copper and create bronze? We don't know, right? So open innovation is actually the older way of innovating. People freely copying ideas from each other. The idea that companies can in secret create new products, which and that the recipe of that will be kept in house and not be shared with the outside world. That came only with the institution of patents and copyrights, and that's essentially 18th century, 19th century phenomena. So if you look at the history of the humanity, open innovation is the way we have innovated. We have freely copied ideas from each other, and the closed innovation approach is a relatively new one. And no company, Apple, relatively closed, but as we have seen, as is written in this particular contribution, Apple collaborates with all the app developers on their platform. So that's a form of open innovation. So that's why I say it's more useful to look at these approaches to innovation as a continuum, completely closed at one end, completely open. Majority of the companies out there, if not all companies out there, for-profit companies out there, will fall somewhere in that continuum. Some will be closer to the closed end, others will be closer to the open end.